In other news, Chinese biotech companies are making breakthroughs from cancer therapies to weight control treatments. Many are in clinical trials. But when their new drugs reach patients overseas, they won't be under a Chinese brand name. Yew Guan reports.
In most places, generic medicines are typically cheaper than their brand name counterparts. But in China, the price gap can be much wider. Take this flu medication, for example. If I buy the branded version Tamiflu from the pharmacy, it costs me about 215 yuan, or about $31. But the generic version from the public hospital costs about 20 yuan, or about $3, more than 10 times cheaper. China is able to capitalize on its huge population and patient numbers. It pulls drug demand from public hospitals nationwide and runs volume-based tenders, offering drug makers guaranteed sales volumes in exchange for much lower prices. But there's been a flip side. Dai Jialing has been covering China's pharma sector for over 17 years.
你比如说，10年前投的公司 IPO 了之后，我的市值也非常好，我的流动性也非常好，然后一级市场的钱拿回来，我再反投到这个行业里面，这就形成了一个良性循环。集采就是把药价压得很低了之后，估值就受到了质疑，那几年就造成了整个资金链的断裂。
But that funding crisis also led Chinese pharma companies to move in a whole new direction.
A lot of biopharma companies in China actually very enthusiastically looking to expand outside of China. In the past 1 to 2 years, 32% of the global out-licensing value actually come from products of Chinese origins.
Ray Lim is a former marketing executive at multinational pharmaceutical companies. He sees another force at work, pushing Chinese companies to license out their new drugs rather than going global on their own.
It comes down to the market perception. Yeah, people are still looking at China as a generics market. China has actually moved beyond that. They are actually very innovative. Unfortunately, the market perception has not actually seen this.
But attitudes are changing for those in the know within the global pharma sector. As founder and CEO of Chinese biotech firm Duality Bio, John Chu sees that change firsthand in more ways than one.
以前的话确实是有一些质量的问题，现在的话已经好很多了。因为中国做过很多的整顿，中国对生产、对监管的要求到了一个近乎苛刻的程度。 说实话，比美国的标准可能还要高。我们现在很多呢都已经陆陆续续通过了 FDA 的 inspection。中国不再只是做原料药，不再只是做仿制药，我们在做创新药。你可以看到跨国药企的 CEO 组团挑选中国的 biotech， 挨个的去拜访，说：“诶，我们对你的 innovation 很感兴趣，我们希望跟你合作。”这种认可，说实话。
And the pace of these cross-border partnerships is accelerating fast. Official figures show Chinese pharmaceutical companies signed 94 out-licensing deals in 2024. That number surged to 157 in 2025. Deal values climbed even faster, more than doubling from nearly $52 billion to $136 billion in just 1 year. Beyond validating China's growing strength in drug innovation, these deals serve another crucial purpose. They provide a vital funding lifeline. Because at home, drug making in China is expected to serve a broader social mission.
My view is this would be a commodity. This would be a social welfare. If you look at the prioritization of the 15th, 5-year plan, general wealth, living standard, equality, of the retail people is on the agenda and highest priority. So as an investor, I would invest in those companies, but I would not expect they are able to make a really high profit margin because I think this is a social welfare issue.
So, is this differences in governing systems that's turning this pharmaceutical collaboration into one of the few bright spots of cooperation in this era of technological rivalry? With breakthroughs in weight control drugs, cancer therapies, and treatments for some of the world's most serious diseases in the pipeline. Keeping this cooperation alive will not just sustain China's biotech companies, it will ultimately benefit patients everywhere. Yew Guan, CNA, Shanghai.